Hey everybody. Um, Check it out. It's Todd Williams. He's helping. All right. Um, first of all, if you didn't email me about your research question, I really want to hear from you. And if I wrote you back and made suggestions, I wasn't trying to, harass you. I'm just trying to make a really great question for you that will be successful. So remember, it's got to be a question for sure. And then it's got to be related to college, which I think you picked up on. And then finally, it has to have you in it somehow. So it's got to be like personally for you to research and find out about so that you'll know about it. So it should be phrased like with the word I in it or me in it. Like, what would it be like for me to play a sport at college? Okay, so email me if you have it. If you didn't watch either of the other two videos, you really, really should. I know they were like really awful and hard to watch and technologically just fell, but you should watch them because there's info in there that will be really helpful to you. Okay, so if you didn't get the paper from yesterday, like if you weren't in the room yesterday, make sure you get the paper from yesterday and someone can show you what it is if needed. And then hopefully you will get a new paper today that I'm going to show you right now. So it's also in the same location that the other paper was in. So over there by the windows, whichever side that is, should be like the only paper left basically. So it's research log. And if you look at the top of it here, you can see you're going to put your research question right there. And I really only want you to put it there after you've emailed me about it and I've written you back. Because, that's when you're ready to write it there. So there's that. And then once we get into it, like if you decide that you want to change it a little bit, that's totally okay. But let me know if you would. And then if you look up here, you can see we're going to try to find at least 3 good sources, right? Trustworthy, helpful sources. And I think tomorrow we'll kind of go over that some, like what are some good sources. I'll give you some recommendations and we can talk about like what would be reliable and believable if that's helpful. But I think today we'll just jump into it and we'll call today day 1. So if you wanted to write today's date, which would be like the 25th, you could write it right there. So I'm not asking you to write everything you find on this paper, but I'm asking you to write some like bullet points basically, or just a little list for each thing. So say that I start my search today and I start at purdue.edu. And I'm looking about like scholarships that Purdue offers. So here in my results and findings, I'd write down, oh, they have this scholarship for freshmen, and then they have this scholarship for these kind of people and whatever. And then I would write down like purdue.edu, this kind of scholarship. It's just some basic info about it. So remember what I did on this day. And then at the end of the period or at the end of whenever you're doing your research today, thoughts on my progress, like how did it go today? Did I find good information? Is this going to be helpful to me? Do I want to change my question after this? Or do I want to like change it a little bit? Maybe what do I think I'm going to work on tomorrow? So just how is it going? Okay. And then I don't know how to switch the screen to show you something else, but if you remember the paper from yesterday, the one that shows you all 4 parts of the paper, part 2, I believe, is the story of my search. That's this research log. So every day that you fill out the research log, all you have to do when you go to write part 2 of the paper is take this information that's on your research log and put it into like paragraph form in part 2. So doing the research log makes writing part 2 like wildly easy because you have it all right there, ready to write. So if you're like, I'm going to skip the middleman and I'm not even going to do the research log, I'm just going to start writing part 2 of my paper. Like each day, just write a few sentences or a paragraph about what you did that day and what you found. You could totally do that. But you don't have to. So this paper, the research log, you don't have to turn it in. It is for you and your organization. But if I were doing this project, I would totally use the research log because it would be helpful for me. But if it's not helpful for you, that's okay. So again, research log is part 2. This is like list format. Part 2 will be in paragraphs. Okay, so that's basically where we're at for today. So by the end of the period today, you would have definitely emailed with me about your topic. If you haven't done that yet, you would have watched 3 terrible videos about this stuff. And then you would have done a little bit of research and filled out day 1 on your research log. And then that's it. So for sure, email me, message me on Canvas if you have questions, if you feel confused, talk to your people in class, right? Work together, help each other. And I think that's it. So I'm gonna press some buttons and hopefully they're the right ones. And then that'll be the end of this terrible video. All right, peace out.